listening to Reset Race. You now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. What? Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake. Lineage go back to U.S. Southern plantations. Pennies, Jim Crow, and mass incarceration. Redlining lynchings. We are old from this nation. You're not about justice if you ain't for reparations. MG the wise one. Cousin mother intellectual. Samantha bringing fire. Anti-black, we pressing you. No permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The backbone of the country. To win, you need our energy. You gon' see. Listening to Reset Race. You now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake.
So, welcome to Reset Race. I am Samantha Angelique. MG is out being a good Black man, spending time with his family, and doing what good Black men do. So he will not be with us tonight. But hey, I got some other good Black men with me, so we will all pick up the slack. So you can find me at me17trillion on Twitter. Come correct or we will bust that ass. And I'm an equal opportunity. Sorry, I had to laugh because I started thinking about a different movie. Y'all remember that movie? Like, you're a habitual line stepper. That's about how I feel about myself right now. So if you come over and you want to talk trash and be like, but I'm a POC. Or my favorite, y'all Africans be like, but I'm Black. Y'all gonna get this work too. I'm gonna give you the same work. If you say some crazy, low-key, anti-Black shit, I'm gonna give you the same work that I would give an anti-Black white supremacist who was white. So, we are what we are who we are. And I'm looking forward to today's show because we talk so much about what we are tired of. So we're gonna let other people talk about stuff. So first up, John, please introduce yourself so we can get to this video.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, this is John C. Back with the fam. I appreciate that compliment, Sam. You said that like she with other good Black men. Now, I wouldn't say I'm decent. I'm pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? MG with the family. He doing what good Black men do. I'm decent. I might have babies I don't know about. Now, let me stop fucking with y'all, nigga. Come on. Nah, I ain't that bad. But I'm back with the fam. We about to talk about, what these POCs be, these games, these POCs like to play with us. And we about to go, give out some smoke. And if they say some right shit, we give them their props. But back to the grill,
though. Yeah. Sam, you go. I'll just go. All right.
You just go, Mud. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they call me Mud. You can find me on all my socials, Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, @oflineage. I just got into a debate the other day where I debated 3 people by myself. Shout out to Shaka. Caught you slipping.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, yeah, Better Dose TV. Check it out. Yeah, let's get it started.
Love it. You got to speak up, John. We can barely hear you.
My bad. You can hear me now?
Yep.
But yeah. I said Mud and MG. Yeah, they giving out hella smoke on Clubhouse, man. So You
I
know,
just want to
they
do our
doing
own
their thing.
rooms. I have no real interest in listening to what the masses have to say over there. I'll definitely I'm interested in letting like a couple people join the conversation, but I'm just not really interested in what the masses have to say, because a lot of y'all over there are just dumb. Not over there, but just in general. Like, there's just a lot of dumb conversation happening, and it's just a lot of people who like hearing themselves talk, but they don't know nothing, and it's a waste of my time and energy. I'd rather read a book. But I would like to do what we do over there. That would be fun.
For sure. You can make it happen. I can make it happen.
Until all of us get our black checks. All right, we ready? So we're gonna stop. We're gonna start with this video. It is Stop Asian Hate, but also Stop Anti-Blackness in Asian Communities. Intersectionality is needed. So we're gonna play this video, and I got another video that I want to play, and I feel like between the two, these would be a good little piece together, because I feel like they both said some good things. Well, I feel like these ladies said some good things in their videos. So let me know if you need me to stop, and we'll go from here.
We're going to talk about this a little bit more. So look, I am Asian. I identify as Asian. A lot of UK Indian people or Pakistani people present themselves as Asian there. It's really common in the UK. It's not so common here. But I consider myself Asian as a whole, like, general term. And for those of you that don't know, because South Asia is in Asia and India is a part of Asia. So there's that little gist. But there's a hashtag going around called Stop Asian Hate, mostly in part due to the rise in anti-Asian sentiment that has come about because of the language used by a former president in speaking about the coronavirus coming to North America. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. But my problem is that we are being asked now to stop Asian hate. And obviously we should. I'm not going to discount that. The atrocities that have been happening to Asian people across the spectrum of Asian in the US, in other parts of the world, in Canada, is on the rise, exponentially so, because people are being misinformed. People are being radicalized by YouTube videos of all things into thinking that one group of people that looks a certain way is responsible for COVID. And unfortunately, it's really misinformed information. But at the same time, I want to talk about the lack of intersectionality of the people discussing this topic. So prior to these shootings that happened in Atlanta, there was an issue where an Asian senior diversity and inclusion expert
by a white man. I just want to throw that out there. By a white man.
Everybody forget about that.
By a white man. Not by a black man. By a white man.
Well, how be the face? How be the
I just wanted to throw that out there though. Because it's just like Tennessee, right? We forget that right before Christmas, a white man blew up Tennessee. We still are not talking about this. It was only at Christmas.
That's fucking crazy.
It hasn't been 5 months.
Yeah, that's
wild. If one of our significant others cheats on us, we'll be talking about this 5 months from now.
Word up.
I'm just saying. Like the whole country, we're still not talking about how this happened, how nobody knew, and how he blew up like a whole block in Tennessee.
Shit, a fucking shame, man.
Okay, sorry, I just had to throw that out there. Whew, okay, back to the lady, because she is on point. I just had to throw out that it was a white man. Go ahead.
Asian senior diversity and inclusion expert posted a video about the Asian people nominated for an Oscar, claiming that they had broken the bamboo ceiling. Now, first of all, if anyone other than an Asian person had written bamboo ceiling, we would be in for a whole hell of a lot of canceling. Because just because a term was made in 2005 does not mean that it should be used in 2020. We would hope that people have learned from 2018 or 2019.
And with that, can we add BIPOC to that? Because we threw POC in your face and said we didn't want that shit. And then you went and fucking put that shit in the bleach cycle and came up with fucking BIPOC and brought that shit to us again. Fetch ain't gonna happen. We don't want that shit. Period. We want to be identified as who we are, period. And we are talking about people start identifying the people by who you're talking about. So you talk about Vietnamese people, talk about Vietnamese people. You talk about white people, talk about white people. And depending on where you are, you have to be specific because you got to talk about, are you talking about Americans? Are you talking about people in their own country? Because there's a lot of shit going on. People be talking about shit all over the world. That's it.
Right.
All right. Let's let her go.
And not use things that connotate to foreigners or people who are not a part of your culture that should be associated with you no matter where you're from, if you're a part of that culture. So first of all, it was very irritating. I got into a few Twitter arguments with some people that call themselves diversity and inclusion experts. And this is what really upset me about this, because then about 2 days later, these shootings happened. And what I had been trying to say then to those people who have titles such as diversity and inclusion experts is that they lack intersectionality in their assessment of these nominations for the Oscars. For something as simple as that, there's no intersectionality of it, because Asian communities, for the most part, have 2 commonalities in them. One is that they dislike dark skin across the board, which can be translated, and which is translated into anti-Blackness. In every part of our culture, it's taught to us that dark skin is bad.
I just want to pause this because I got to find that other video where the guy was talking about how Black and Asian issues started in 1992 with the Watts riots.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he said that's where it started. That's where the issue with the Asian community and the Black people started. That's where it started. 1992. 1992.
Oh shit. You can't make this shit up, sis. You can't make this shit up.
I'm gonna find the video for us. But, so yeah, okay. So this is okay. So let's just take a minute right here, right? I want to go unpack what she just said. She said in the Asian community, dark skin is frowned upon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it translates into anti-Blackness. We say all the time that just because people are non-white does not make them allies and does not inherently make us on the same team. So if you happen to be brown, but in your country, you think that darker skin is not preferred and you don't want it, why would you want to team up with Black people? Why would you want to help Black people? Why would you want to help Black people succeed? Why would you want to fight for or with Black people? That shit translates into here. So stop lumping us all in one box. Do you have something for that, Mud? You get where I'm going with it, right? Can you clean it up for me?
Yeah, I mean, it's the anti-Blackness. It's like we know it, like, especially because for some reason, like, Indians and the caste system kind of gets a pass, like, in our society. Like, we don't really talk about it, even though, like, their culture, like, the way they have their culture set up is set up to promote discrimination. And I think we've all seen the articles, like, how that stuff is kind of influencing, like, the tech industry, like, because they're not letting go of those type of things. And honestly, that's as far as, like, within their culture, that's some internal shit. Now, when it bleeds over into employment, that's another issue that I have a problem with. It's just that, like, you can't tell me that's my ally, and then they can't come to me expecting me to do something for them unless we're going to have some type of exchange.
Word. I agree. 100%, You know how they do, man. Like a lot of people. The thing when we talk about Asians in America, like usually the first thing that comes to your mind is not really an Indian. We kind of put them subconsciously with like Middle Eastern people. Like people
Yeah.
talk about Asians really, in our mind, we really talking about Koreans, Japanese people, Chinese people, people that's like kind of more far east. But this just goes to show like like you're right though, like they don't really talk about the role that the caste system plays in India and how deeply anti-blackness is rooted, not just in Indian culture, but in all these different Asian cultures and shit, like Koreans, Japanese people, Chinese, Vietnamese, Filipinos. And my brother, he been to India. He said it was one of the worst countries he ever been to. This is his personal experience. He went to India and he said that caste system shit, it was real because he was in a taxi cab and like the way other Indians was talking about other Indians, like the people that was asking for money, he was like, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that. He a piece of shit. The cab driver was talking shit about him. He probably was an untouchable. And they recognize that how the caste system here works. They kind of apply that, you know, from their culture to what they see over here. And they know that stepping on black people over here is a way to get up. So, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right about it not just being with the Indians, because you could look at the history of Japan and how it kind of like conquered like all these different Asian nations and like oppressed them and treated them, like showed their ethnic bigotry based on how they treated these people. So I mean, the thing is that we only want to see things through the lens of America when it was mainly white and black. And we don't want to talk about the racial dynamics and ethnic dynamics, how they played out in other countries around the globe, and how that is, you know, immigration kind of makes a bridge between those societies and our society. And we got to really kind of, you know, start dealing with these nuances based on that.
All right. Word up. Sam, where you at, sis?
Oh, I'm here. So I love everything that both of y'all just said. I really love what I said. So I pulled up because we were talking about the casting, right? And I pulled up this Al Jazeera article that Dell had put on Twitter. California student body demands ban on caste discrimination. Historic resolution passed by Students Association at California State University calls for adding caste in schools anti-discrimination policy. And I'm not going to sit here and bother taking up time to talk about how there's been lawsuits like John and Mud were saying in Silicon Valley. Like they are bringing this over here. And if they're doing this to their own people, imagine what they're doing to Black people. And again, and this is why that people of color umbrella and that BIPOC is a sham and a scam. And I'm not playing. I will not identify myself that way. I will not allow you to identify me and my people that way, because you cannot throw us all in a bag because of our skin color. Period. We have different issues. We're different. We have different incomes. We have different wealth status. We have different things. And a lot of people who are poor in this country, no disrespect, you guys are poor not due to what this country did to you. So, all right. Shall we move back to the video? Because I do. Are we good? Anything else, guys? Are we okay?
We're good.
All right. That's right.
And light skin is good. Okay. Since growing up as far back as I can remember, I am the darkest in my family, and especially when I'm in the sun. So this is spring, winter for me here in Canada, and I'm really pale because the sun hasn't been out here. But in the summer, I get dark, and I love it, and I embrace my dark skin. But my whole life, I've been told that I'm too dark, that I'm not pretty enough, that I should marry someone who's lighter skin so that my babies have a chance of being lighter skinned. Listen, I didn't.
For Latinos, that's mejor la raza, better the race. They have the same shit. So why is it all these cultures and groups are trying to move closer and lighter and brighter? Ooh.
Damn, all of them do. Latinos got it. Asians got it. Indians, Middle Eastern people got it. All these people, Native Americans even do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these people do that shit, man. They know why.
Shit, while you playing, we got it too.
Well, how you know, low key,
Don't
like,
bring no dark skinned girl
low key.
home. People I've heard people say their grandmothers have told them that.
Shit. Now my grandmama just say bring son home. Stop being out here in these streets. But nah, but nah, you're right though. Even we do it. Even we do it too though. But I mean, but just to see that shit, like, and like these people supposed to be like our real natural allies because white people don't like them. Like that. Like, yeah, I mean, white people love Asians, really though. You see Mitch McConnell, you know what I mean? You see Mitch McConnell wife, right? Ain't Mitch McConnell wife Asian? You know what I'm saying?
She's Chinese.
She's Chinese and he hate Negroes. Come from a family of slave owners, so you draw it up. You know, that shit crazy, son. That shit crazy, sis. You can't make this shit up.
All right. Are you ready? I'm about to rock.
All right.
Not listen to that, obviously. My babies, for the most part, are darker skinned in the summer, at least for one of them, and one not so much. But what can you do? That's genes for you, right? You don't know what you're going to come out with. So it's very interesting that that's the commonality. And then the other commonality in the Asian communities is that we're extremely, extremely Islamophobic. We do not, for the most part, appreciate Muslim minorities in Asia. So I'm saying this because these same diversity and inclusion experts who are being quoted and interviewed in every freaking article I can find about Stop Asian Hate have never once spoken about the Uyghur Muslims and the struggle that they're facing in China. They have never once, not once, spoken about on their social medias or tried to bring attention to the Rohingya Muslims that are being exiled and possibly, because we don't have enough information, possibly having a genocide committed against them in Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. So here's the thing. I have always said, and this is why I'm so passionate about getting rid of anti-Blackness and tearing down the systems of oppression and working on ABR, because my one thing is I want to keep learning, and I want to keep learning where all of my blind spots are. Thank goodness for many of the people on my channel who have been with me on this journey from the beginning, who've taught me to change certain things because language matters. I was taught to say fair skin, not realizing that I was upholding a system. So now I use dark skin, light skin, opposites. No connotation of one being better than the other, because it was fair skin and dark skin that I was taught about. And look, if your diversity and inclusion experts don't have intersectionality, meaning that they think about it from the Asian standpoint, the Asian Muslim standpoint, the Asian minority standpoint, if they are not thinking about this from all angles, from the Asian people who are half Black standpoint, if you are not thinking about this from all of those levels, your diversity and inclusion work needs work. You need to unlearn a lot of your ish, okay? That's the best way to put it. I'm trying not to swear, but it made me so angry because at the end of the day, the one thing that all our cultures, all of our people have in common that we need to fight is we need to fight to dismantle anti-Black racism, Islamophobia, and systems of oppression. So systemic racism, which stems from white supremacy, which stems from us, even us in the Asian community, upholding white supremacy. So when we get into these positions, it leads back to that whole thing about the bamboo ceiling. They were trying to say...
Before she gets into that, does anybody want to go a little bit further? Because she kind of dropped it out there. I think she kind of ran off.
I mean, yeah, she talked about, talking about groups in specific ways and shit like that. But, I mean, I don't know. Mud, you got something? You got something about this? Like, she brought it up, but then she kind of was like, anyways, like, you know how that shit go. We know what they do. So that's all right, I ain't got nothing. I'm gonna be quiet. I ain't got nothing. Mud, you got something, cuz?
From white supremacy, which stems from us, even us in the Asian community, upholding white supremacy. So when we get into these positions that...
Boom.
Yeah.
So she openly admits that other groups do come here and uphold white supremacy. So even these groups that so-called are people of color, they do come in and uphold the standard of white supremacy. I just, like I said, she threw it out there, but she just dropped it and kept going. You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, did you catch it? Because that's something a lot of groups do. That's why when a lot of people hit me on Twitter and be like, well, I'm a person of color, what does that mean to me? Because a lot of y'all uphold white supremacy. There's a whole thing on my Twitter about Latino gangs, like, supporting the police, like, attacking Black protesters. So, like, So, but I thought we're all oppressed, right? Black and brown, right? They always talk about how it's Black and brown people that always go to jail. But when you look at the statistics, it's mainly Black people who go to jail. Here it is. Latino gangs in Chicago attack Black protesters to assist police. Like,
Well, I mean, the dirty little secret that we don't talk about is that a lot of these police killings, you know, it's
listen to the last names. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a
Like even
Latino.
the dude who got pepper sprayed, that was a Latino leading the charge. It was dark skin versus light skin.
Yeah.
And just to piggyback off what Cousin Mud's saying, it's like you still got to remember though, these people is also immigrants. Like, and you know, like when immigrants migrate to a country, they trying to, in some ways, assimilate to that system in order to climb to the, you know what I mean, get in a better position. And we already know how our system work over here, so it's only natural. And if they come from a country that already has a fucked up anti-Black system, of course they're gonna bring this shit over here. So, you know. She ain't lying, but she really skipped over that real quick though. Like, yeah, we down with white supremacy. We got to talk about that. But anyway, you know,
Yeah,
anyway,
pretty much.
You know that
Pretty
shit
much.
though.
All right, I'm gonna play some more, but yeah, that's why I had to run it back. Cause like, yeah, I know I caught that.
These positions, it leads back to that whole thing about the bamboo ceiling. The person was trying to say to me, to argue with me, that our struggle as Asians is unique in the corporate world because we are only allowed to move to a certain point and not allowed to move further. But listen, that is the same for Indigenous people. That is the same for Black people.
That's a lie.
Thank you.
Silicon Valley. That's a lie. Hey, sis, you all right?
Yeah.
I'm fine. We're not even getting into the rooms. Black Americans aren't even in the rooms to be discriminated against for moving up at those levels. We don't even get off the lower management side for the most part in numbers. Finding a Black American that's like in the top levels of a corporation is like finding fucking Waldo.
Exactly.
Probably harder.
And like when you look at like the Fortune 500, like the motherfuckers who are like the richest people in the country and stuff like that, you know, we're not really up in there like that, but it's whites and Asians up in that motherfucker.
Yes, sir. All right.
Yeah.
People, the Canadian government is being sued right now by their Black employees who are public sector workers because there is a system of oppression in Canada within the public service that has made Black employees train the people below them to take the position above them. So when you tell me that it's a unique situation, it isn't that unique to Asian people, that they are allowed to be here, but not here in the corporate ladder. And it's not unique to Asian people. It's a white supremacist thing. And when those Asian people get into that middle part, they are so good at holding down other oppressed groups. And that's what we need to talk about in our communities. We need to talk about the anti-Blackness in our communities and how we uphold white supremacy by oppressing other groups once we're giving crumbs of white supremacy in our positions of power that they give us. They give us that with that whole model minority idea. They give us that for in so many ways.
Oh, sorry, my bad. But go ahead.
Hey, man. She's really trying to act like Asians is playing the role of middle management. Like they ain't got the bag. Like in America, they got more money than white people.
Mud, you'll throw up the number chart in here somewhere, right? Since John brought it up, that's the perfect time to throw the money out there.
And when we're talking about like income, we're talking about wealth.
The wealth. I like using wealth. Fuck income. Even though they're killing us on income too, but I like using wealth.
Okay. We got to talk like we're meaning per capita. We're not saying that Asians have like in total more money than white people. I need that to be clear.
Yeah.
No, because there's different types of Asians too. Like I like so Darity has the Color of Wealth report for Los Angeles, and they break down them into Indian Asians, Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Koreans. So it's a deeper split.
Yeah.
Because then you see like there's a difference in their levels.
Right.
Oh, wait. All right. We ready? Oh damn. Oh yeah. That's where we were, somewhere in here. I guess that's where we were last time. Oh yeah, good. It's back where we were.
A little bit of power, and then we in turn hold down other people. So where is our responsibility in all of this? We definitely need to take some. We need to talk about how this inherently is built into our cultures and we have to actively unlearn it. I gave you an example of how I'm doing it, but I'm telling you, my family is so diverse. My upbringing has been so diverse. I have South Asian, I have East Asian people in my family. And the one thing that's common is the anti-Blackness and Islamophobia. So until those groups, until Black people, Indigenous people, Muslim people, and yes, I know Muslim is not a race, but it's a group of people that are systemically oppressed in all parts of the world. So until we get those people out from under the thumb of white supremacy, until that happens, then all of our work for just one group over the other is garbage. Like, you're not doing anything except finding a way to make yourself superior to those who are less fortunate than you.
So did she just say that we should fight for, even though she did throw an indigenous, and well, it is what it is, but did she just say that we should fight for Black people, and then from there, everything else will shake out with the rest of the hierarchy? Because once we get rid of white supremacy, things get better for everybody. Is that kind of what you just said?
That's what it sounded like to me. And it sounded like she was saying something about like $6 quadrillion, but I might have heard that wrong.
6.4.
Yeah, was she talking about? Yeah, I think she was alluding to our money. That's why I think she don't subconsciously she's talking about giving us our. I think so. I don't know though.
I don't know. She never said the R word, but
she never said that.
It seems like she was alluding to reparations. But okay.
She's Canadian though, so that's what.
But yeah, she's Canadian. That's different.
I'm Canadian.
But she's definitely saying it does sound like she's saying until we do right by people. And I know in Canada, their treatment of the Indigenous is really bad, like really bad. So yeah, interesting. All right, she's almost done, and then we can go to the other one. So
yeah, you may be unfortunately in a position of having less power, but there are people below you that have even less that you're helping to hold down. So that's my thing. I hope we can discuss it in the comments nicely. I don't want to remove comments from this video, but if you're rude or belittling to me or anyone else, I will probably...
Okay. Since it's over, let's move on to the next video. Any final thoughts on this? Do I have my thing on? Any final thoughts on this video? Because I'm going to move on to the next video.
No, I agree. I think she did a very good job of breaking it down. Mm-hmm. Like the intersectionality stuff is a little bit too much for me, but as long as she has the main point, I can rock with it.
I agree. I think she admitted that, people of color, particularly, I guess you could say Asians if you want to, categorize them like that. A lot of them, they play a role in white supremacy, and they're okay with the caste system. So I guess she broke that down, and I guess she understands the main point of this shit, I guess. But I take that shit with a grain of salt. That's just me. I take, all right, that's cool, that's nice. Where's my bread at?
She's so
Where's my
funny.
bread at?
She's
Second year Wonder Bread.
Canadian. She's not giving you no bread. Ain't no
But
money come from Canada.
I think I got an ancestor in Nova Scotia. Where's my bread? Like, give me my bread.
You are
Didn't the Canadians didn't they break out some bread for the natives that were up there?
Yeah, they do a lot.
You know, probably.
And Justin Trudeau did some black bacon shit just for black businesses, but I don't know how that's working out. But it seemed like a kind of hefty little chunk of bread for them black Canadians. So, but you know, yeah, shit still, you know how this shit is.
All right, I'm waiting for this thing to go away so I can see. We can do this one. Should we do like a Chinese Asian? Or I like what the Indians say though, because they start getting into like how none of them had to go through the same oppression that we did coming here. I feel like they break it down a little bit more.
Yeah.
I feel like they say shit that we would say.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, let's rock it. It's short anyways. We're doing good today. All right, let's go.
Y'all ready? Welcome to the Upside Down Smiley Show, where we talk about real life, but we don't take life too seriously. My name is Shireen, and I have my family friend Sindhu here.
Hey.
Sindhu, tell them what you're up to about your profession.
Oh, my name is Sindhu, and I am a professor of communication studies and a diversity and inclusion consultant. And yeah, that's kind of who I am. I'm on Instagram. A small following on Shakti Diversity and Equity. You can follow me there.
She's been posting a lot of things about like racism and specifically about anti-blackness. And so we are both of the Indian community.
Malayali Kannada.
Malayali Kannada, yeah.
Hold on. But ain't it's just funny to me. You always Sam, you bring this up often, Mud Dude. You bring it up too, MG bring it up too. How so many people of color in America or the experts on diversity and inclusion, like you know, I'm talking about like they be at the top levels of diversity and inclusion, like how, like what the? I'm going. That's all. That's my question. How that? What? You the expert on inclusion in America? Daddy got here in 72?
Because they came in and got included while we continue to be excluded.
You ain't never lie. You ain't never lie. Shit.
They are the proof that they don't hate brown people. It's just us being lazy. All right, y'all, let's rock.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that I think is an issue in the Indian community. One thing that you kind of brought up is about like the systematic and kind of like how our minds have been trained, and I kind of want you to talk a little bit about that.
Anti-Blackness is the covert and overt, both systemic and interpersonal racism against Black people. So we're talking about the specific violence, discrimination, and harm that is placed on Black people that impacts the health, wealth, and safety of this community. And the thing about anti-Blackness is that it is not something that just started in this country like after Trayvon Martin was murdered, right? That's what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
Anti-Blackness has been embedded in the fabric of the society. So it's been designed to fit into our society.
Yeah.
And you won't know that unless you really study history, and I recommend that you really take a deep dive into history. I can't do that in 10 minutes right now. But if you just go back to the 1600s, right, when slavery started, for 250 years, Black people were enslaved. They were treated worse than we would treat like a stray dog, right? Yeah. That's the reality of it. And when slavery was abolished, there was about 10 years where Black people were free. And the idea was that Black people are genetically inferior than white people.
And I think a lot of people think about like, oh, slavery was so long ago, but it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, and I mean, it started a long time ago, but didn't end that long ago.
Yeah.
And 10 years after slavery, we had the Jim Crow laws. So the Jim Crow laws were separate but equal, but don't let that fool you because there was nothing equal about Black people. So for 100 years, separate but equal Jim Crow laws were put into place. And basically what that meant was segregation, right? So Black people were inferior, so white people couldn't mix with them. So here we had, you know, separate schools, you couldn't take the same bus, separate bathrooms, separate.
White racial terrorism. White people running up in your homes, lynching your husband, raping your mother. Yeah. it wasn't just segregation. Y'all got anything?
Well, I just am I an asshole for noticing that they keep including themselves in this history?
Yep, like they were here in this country.
Nah, you ain't an asshole. Keep
Go
that
ahead.
shit
Keep
real.
going, Mo. Keep going.
Nah, that was just the point. Like, it just seems funny to me that I don't think that we are really being positioned in these jobs that really should be about us, since we are the ones that have been excluded, and we are the ones that have like felt the full brunt of all of this shit. And the key thing in all of this is that when everyone is talking, they focus in on white supremacy and anti-blackness. So why exactly are they the ones saying this versus us being the ones in the role saying this?
That's another episode. Hey, Mud,
yeah. Why are there not more American Descendants of Slavery, of chattel slavery, diversity experts getting paid?
We know
exactly.
Why. We know why. Word up. And you know what? This kind of take on our history. This is like a real fourth grade social studies type of. I mean, I guess you're trying to condense it into a little short video, but
it is real remedial.
Yeah, it's real remedial, and it's like they treated them worse than stray dogs. No, they didn't. White people pick up stray dogs, put his little sweater on them. Man, come on, man. He was cattle. Like, you feel me? Like, stray dogs get treated better than us now, motherfucker. Like,
I brought it back, you guys.
But you know, I guess, can you say she's trying? I don't know.
I mean,
but
I'm not knocking them. I'm not knocking them. I think it's coming from it could be coming from a pure place, but it's still like a thing of like, like, we are the center of this story. We are the center of this whole conversation. So why aren't we the ones having the conversation?
But you know why that's not white supremacy positioned them to be in a role to do that? Like, you know what I mean? It's so many factors that, you know, you break this shit down on Benedict's TV, you break it down here. Like, there's so many different factors and nuances, so many gray areas in this shit. To try to compress our history, like it was slavery, Jim Crow, and the police kill them out. But like, without going to like what exactly each period did, and what, you know what I mean, and get into the depth of what that really meant for us, like what it means. So,
and we need to force the Nader period into the timeline, because white people of color and white people do not know about the Nader period. And the Nader period starts right after Reconstruction and goes into about 1930. That was the height of the lynchings. It was when they were running people out of towns and cities, when they were stealing people's property. Like, nobody talks about this. And that was also when they were introducing the Black codes and Jim Crow. How do you think that they made sure that Blacks weren't, where it was areas were completely white? People don't understand. After slavery, people had started living with each other. They had to resegregate the country to do all this shit.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys? So she's not even giving a good enough history.
Nope.
But she's a diversity expert. But at least she's trying. Like I said, this is very remedial, so we're gonna give you an A for at least speaking up. But
shit. All right. Yeah,
A for effort.
A for effort. I'll give her a C minus. Like, she ain't failed. She ain't failed, but all right, whatever. It's all good, I guess.
No, you good. I'm gonna play.
All right, sure.
Libraries, separate medical facilities. 99% of the time, those facilities were not equal, right? I'm an educator, so I know that in the South especially, in schools, Black students had to be their own janitors, right?
Wow.
And white students had janitorial services. I mean, the parents out there who have kids, or if you're a student yourself, imagine having to like clean the bathroom.
Taking care of that as a student, right?
So, and also at that time, there was government.
No, I know. It's just the stuff that they're harping on. This is not stuff that matters. Like, yes, the reason why it mattered that the education was separate was because we were getting less funding. That's why we wanted the schools integrated. We wanted the same funding that you were giving the white schools. And then you integrated us. And now we still don't get the same funding. We can just go to your schools if we can afford to live in your neighborhoods.
Which means we have never really integrated. There's just been a few anomalies here and there.
Yeah.
And for the most part, most Black people are kind of in the same neighborhood that they were in or their family was in, a generation ago, or they've been moved or into another Black neighborhood that another Black family was in a generation ago. Anyways, you get my point. Like, we basically have been still living in de facto segregation. All right.
Yeah, so all right, let's get back to the 4th grade lesson. But it's good to see this because you see how like she trivializes what happened to us. We were terrorized. It was not just about having to be separate. We weren't treated worse than dogs. We were treated like property. That's what slavery was, not dogs. We were treated like a mule or a cow. Your dog is your friend. Your cow is not your friend. Your cow is there to give you some milk. And if it comes to it, it's going to give you some meat. That's the function. It's not to be your friend.
And
So,
Sam, yeah, my bad.
No, go ahead, John. Go ahead. I'm sorry. It just stuck with me. Go ahead, John.
Nah, I just wanted to say, like, even a stray dog got a better chance at upward mobility than a Negro today. Like, all you gotta do is get found on the street by any white middle class woman. You out of here. You got your own room, stability. You got a pool, doggy treats, sweaters, all that shit, man. So
here's the shit that kills me. We're not going to talk about any of the economic part of this yet. Like,
nope, not a
that part?
Not a dollar. We damn near we at the 60s already. We ain't talking about dollar. We ain't talking about none of the economics.
Word up. Be the reason she living good, being a diversity expert and shit. We built this bitch. But it is what it is.
All right.
Government policies and procedures, government sanction policies and procedures that helped to keep white people elevated in status in society. We learn about other people from media, from society, from education.
And she like dropped over that one, right? And they did policies to elevate white people. Blah, 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 blah. Why not get into, like, I get it, but if you're gonna do it, you got to break it down a little bit more so people understand that, like, white people have always got handouts. I don't know. I just feel like you could have did a 15-minute video versus a 10, just so you could have given a little bit more information that you should have got out there since you wanted to get this to your audience. But maybe we should hurry up and watch the second video that they do and see if it was better. What do y'all think?
Well, we're not gonna finish this out. We're just gonna.
I'm saying let's hurry up and finish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You guys got anything else before I go back to play?
Nah.
Okay, cool.
Our families.
Right.
And Black people are overrepresented in the media as being violent, as being drug addicts, as being criminals. And so we're learning to associate Black people in that way.
Right.
Just like, what do you think about, what do you associate peanut butter with? What's the first thing? Peanut butter and?
Jelly.
That's subconscious. We're not thinking about that. We're subconsciously associating Black people with being violent. We don't break bread with Black people on a large scale in the Indian community.
Right.
And so we go off these stereotypes, these biases that we don't even know that we have.
Yeah.
And so that we have these ideas about Black people that perpetuate anti-Blackness.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like young people, educated people my age that have said things like, but they have the same kind of opportunities, or they're not working as hard, or things in that direction. And I think for me, one big takeaway that I want to kind of talk about is like how to handle those situations, because this is something personal for me because I have Black people in my family, and I don't want anyone in my family to ever feel different, ever feel like they are not equal or they are less than, which is which is, I think, deep down what a lot of Indian people do think.
So I think one of the things that you said, it made me think about the model minority myth, and it is related to us as being, we're part of the Asian group, and Indian people are the wealthiest, we're the most educated, and the idea, that was a term coined by government officials, and the idea is we came here after 1965 in a widespread way, and now we know English, we are educated, well, we can do it, then Black people have been here
chose to come here.
Yeah, exactly.
We chose to come to
we
this
have
country.
to remember.
Hold on. You forgot to say what happened after 1965 that made it where you could come here in masses.
Yeah.
That was after the Civil Rights Act. And after that, they did the Immigration Act. That's when they opened it up. So that's really what they did. Slavery ended. Bring me your sick, your poor, you're weak, you're da-da-da-da-da. We got the Irish and all these other fuckers to terrorize us. Then 1965, we finally get the Civil Rights Act. They finally gonna do something. Let us do something in the country. Then they bring in a bunch of other people to take advantage of all the shit that we built that we were never able to take advantage of, and then elevate them over us.
Yeah, I like the fact that they did say that we chose to come here. Like, instead of like
people of choice, POCs, people of choice.
That distinction needs to be like etched in everyone's minds so that they don't try to ever make this comparison between us and immigrants.
That was the realest. She's like, we chose. I was like, yep, keep it real. You chose to come here, like. And they keep trying to intersect our story with immigrants. It's just not the same story. It's different. It's different. It's not the same thing, man. So, I mean, whatever. But I'm with Mud on that, though. I'm glad that she admitted that her people chose to come here, and ours didn't. So.
Listening to Reset Race, you're now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race, you're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, back on the grill again. We grilling them, You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake. Lineage go back to U.S. Southern plantations. Lineage, Jim Crow and mass incarceration. Redlining lynchings. We are old from this nation. You're not about justice if you ain't for reparations. MG the wise one. Cousin Mother intellectual. Samantha bringing fire. Anti-black repressing you. No permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The backbone of the country to win. You need our energy. You gon' see. Listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble.